And Mr. Huffman, you are on a roll. You get another 5 minutes with H.R. 3444 to be able to explain your bill.
Thank you, Mr.
Sir.
Chairman. Give me a chance to catch my breath. But now I get to talk about my bill. I want to thank the majority for including it in this hearing. This is, of course, my Tribal Self-Determination and Co-Management in Forestry Act. Just a few weeks ago, the subcommittee brought together a distinguished panel of witnesses who were leaders in tribal forestry, and each of them I've had the privilege of working with in developing my legislation. Every one of them, importantly, emphasized that tribal forestry should be a bipartisan issue for this committee. And I'm certainly committed to making that so. I look forward to hearing from Mr. Tripp today. He has years of experience working with the Karuk Tribe's Natural Resources Department. Mr. Tripp knows that in my district, the Karuk Tribe and others have been leaders in forest management, the integration of cultural burns, use of indigenous knowledge on lands with generations of history that remain deeply tied to them. I hope my Republican colleagues and Chair Westerman will continue to work with us and with tribes and tribal organizations, all of whom share the goal of bringing tribes into the decision-making process when it comes to managing our federal lands. Tribal nations have played a key role in land management since time immemorial, and it is past time for the federal land management agencies to start working with them as equal partners to take a step towards fulfilling our trust and treaty obligations to tribal nations. That's what my legislation is all about. My bill ensures that tribes not only have a seat at the table, but a meaningful stake in decisions affecting their communities. The legislation provides that the Forest Service will have additional standalone authority to enter into co-management agreements with tribes to carry out critical wildfire prevention work and other forest management activities on our national forest lands. It gives tribes more authority to build on the work that they've already been doing through the National Forest System to improve water quality, preserve culturally significant species and places, and manage invasives and sustain natural resources. These are broadly supported policy goals, but we're all well aware on this committee that work that's needed in our national forest is often halted by devastating wildfires and other natural disasters. This legislation provides more flexibility to adjust co-management plans in the event of that kind of disruption, and also allows them to request review, allows tribes to request review from the Forest Service to keep things on track. I'm glad to see the Forest Service here today as this legislation builds on critical tribal consultation that USDA and the Forest Service have conducted to expand and advance self-determination in forestry. Many of the ideas proposed during that consultation are reflected in my legislation. To help Congress address the wildfire crisis, USDA worked with the Department of Interior, with Homeland Security and FEMA to establish the Wildland Fire Mitigation and Management Commission. And that commission developed comprehensive recommendations for improving wildfire response. One key recommendation was for the USDA to have standalone authorities to enter into co-management agreements with tribal nations. That is exactly what my bill does. The bill would also enhance tribal stewardship at Interior by directing each land management agency to collaboratively develop tribal co-management plans with the Secretary's Tribal Advisory Committee. So the focus of the bill clearly is forestry and the Forest Service, but we think that the tribal co-management policies there will become models for all public land agencies, and we want to get the Interior agencies moving forward with their own planning and tribal co-management activities as well. All Department of Interior employees would be involved in developing or implementing tribal co-management plans. They would also be required to receive culturally appropriate training, including education on the trust relationship between the federal government and tribal nations. So I hope my colleagues share our commitment to delivering for tribes in their forestry goals. I urge them to work with us on this legislation to ensure that the administration's actions do not irreparably harm Indian country. And I yield back.